friends, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Dion and today we are going to be going over the hottest styles from Copenhagen Fashion Week. I know everyone is talking about New York Fashion Week right now, and as much as like New York is like an epicenter for fashion, when I look at like street style and just runway styles in general, I always like on Pinterest will look up Copenhagen or Scandinavian style. I just personally love like Scandinavian style. I love Scandinavian home decor. I love Scandinavian politics for the most part. I'm just like a big Scandinavia fan, and I love like Danish fashion. I think Copenhagen Fashion Week presents really cool trends and interesting styles. So when I asked over on my community tab on my channel what video you wanted to see today, you guys actually voted for Copenhagen Fashion Week. So I'm super happy to do that for you guys. Before we get into it, please make sure you subscribe to my channel because I post videos every Thursday. And with that, let's get into it. I am so pale right now, and I really just decided to lean in to my paleness and just go goth for today. Alright, so my references for Copenhagen Fashion Week, we're just going to focus on the runway, and I got all the photos and the designers from VogueRunway.com or something like that. They had 9 designers, 9 collections, and so those are the 9 collections I want to go over. I'm sure there was a lot of other Danish designers at Copenhagen Fashion Week, and the street style is like a whole other video in and of itself because the street style in Copenhagen is... I just want to move to Copenhagen. I forgot to mention this, but one thing that I absolutely loved about Copenhagen Fashion Week over New York Fashion Week and other ones is that they focus so much on sustainability. For the spring summer 2023 show that's happening in August, to even be admitted into the show as a designer, you have to meet certain ethical and sustainable standards, which is just for Fashion Week, for runway fashion, to be like, you can't even get your foot in the door unless you're taking care of your people and your planet. We love to see it. Before we go into the collections, every photo that I'm using is courtesy of the designer, and I got off of the Vogue Runway collection photos on their website. And if I pronounce any of the names wrong, I am really sorry. I try to learn the correct pronunciation and I'm doing my best. So just wanted to preface that before. So the first designer that we're gonna go over is Skull Studio. This one I feel like was it was kind of what I expected in terms of like Scandinavian style and runway styles. We had a lot of balloon sleeves, a lot of lace and neutrals. They had a lot of like collarless shirts or like kind of small frilly collars at the top, which I really like those Victorian style or Edwardian, something like that. But I really like that, and they had a lot of fuzzy knits as well. Yeah, it was mostly neutrals, a lot of like blacks, grays, creams, which is nice in its own way. I apologize for the lighting, it's gonna go in and out, I think. I do really like the peasant style dresses with the balloon sleeves that they had. I find that it's very like cottagecore, it's very coquette, it's very, you could kind of do a lot with those styles. But yeah, I mean, it was a good start. In my opinion, like I liked it. I liked the textures. I'm just more of a color person, so that's my only criticism on that. The next designer we're gonna look at is Holtzweiler. I don't know if you're pronouncing the W as a V or a W, I apologize. I really liked this collection. It was a little bit more like street style, like what I would consider like American street style, which I thought was cool. We had a lot of cutouts and like distressed pieces, which is really interesting. I'm not super sure how I feel about designer distressed pieces or distressed pieces in general, just because I feel like that it inclines people to destroy their own clothes for a trend. But I do really like the silhouettes that they did. I find that it was like very interesting layering and a lot of like juxtaposition of very tailored pieces with like sloppy silhouettes, which I like. There was a lot of statement scarves, which was really cool. This particular purple and yellow one I honestly want to get. And they had a lot of moon boots, which we will discuss as the overall trend of the autumn winter 22 fashion week. Yeah, I like this collection overall. I liked it. It's not like 100% my style. Again, it's a little bit more kind of reminds me of like I Am Gia, like a little bit more street style, but I do like a lot of the pieces from it, especially that scarf. You also saw a lot of like checked print, which was really cool, and some denim, which is an interesting and unexpected trend that I saw in Copenhagen Fashion Week. The next designer we're gonna look at is Month. And something that popped out to me were the uses of electric blues, extreme puffers, this beautiful like tarnished gold color that I don't know, it's not quite a bronze, it's not quite a gold, but it's still metallic. I really liked it. It's almost like a butterscotch, I don't know, but I really like the use of it, especially with the electric blue. I think it looked really, really cool. And you saw the like quilted nylon pieces, like in quilted jackets, which I've seen come into trend a little bit this year, but I think it's gonna be more of a trend. Ooh, this lighting. All right, so the next collection we're gonna look at is one that I really liked and was one of my favorites, which was Heinrich Vibskov. Again, I'm so sorry. I don't know. I think they popped off. We had a lot of electric orange, which I really liked, and these like big, bold checked and plaid prints, which I also really like. They used a lot of balaclavas, which we'll see a lot in Copenhagen Fashion Week overall. Plaid and tartan. We saw some more quilted nylon like we did in the Month line. They also did like a lot of statement socks and these very like electric, almost like they had these coral reef sort of patterns and colors, and then these like northern lights coats. Like there's this coat that literally looks like the northern lights, and I'm not a puffer person, but I love that. I mean, it's a beautiful piece. And I don't know, there's something sort of alien-like about some of the pieces that they did, which I thought was so interesting. And then they also incorporated like classic sort of like dorky pieces, like kind of the Fair Isle après-ski sweaters. So I liked it that it was like some very traditional fall winter items that you expect, type of sweaters or plaid and tartan. And then they had these like alien oceanic prints. So I really liked this collection personally. I love any excuse to wear color in winter. I think it honestly like affects your mood so positively. All right, so the next collection was probably the one that impressed me the least, and it's only because it's not my personal style, honestly. And that's Markkenley Domino Tan. It just seemed very like J. Crew to me and like made well. I don't know. It was a lot of neutrals and like classic pieces, lots of browns, light blues, blacks, etc. Some like cool collarless shirts, which I do appreciate. I love a collarless dress shirt or jacket. I just think it looks really chic. And they had some high neck collars as well, which we've seen come into popularity a lot with different aesthetics. But I don't know, there's nothing that was so like signature about these pieces. I did like the like big brown wool like cape-like jackets, partly because I have a brown and black wool cape, and I was like, oh, my cape looks a lot like pieces in this collection. So there are, I don't know, I do like it and there were some interesting pieces. I just found like if you told me that this was like a J. Crew runway, a Ralph Lauren runway, like I would have believed you just because I didn't find anything signature about it. I think you could take any one of these pieces and stick it into somebody else's collection and I wouldn't really think twice. I don't know. That's just me. I'm also just not a classics and basics type of person, so I'm just bad with neutrals in general. The next collection we're gonna look at is Scandi, and I personally love Scandi as a brand in general. I think they're just a really interesting fashion brand, and I think they're one of the main Scandinavian brands that have translated over to the United States a lot. I know Revolve sells Scandi, I'm pretty sure. And I really enjoyed this collection, particularly their usage of this like electric chartreuse. It's sort of an ugly color, but I also sort of love it. And honestly, on deep skin, it rocks my world. Like my mom always said white people can't wear yellow, and like I have to agree. In some tones of yellow, I think there's some yellows that can complement lighter skin tones, but yellow really belongs to deeper skin tones in my opinion. I think it looks so beautiful, and this chartreuse green is like, oh, I love it. I really like this color. Scandi had a lot of like fuzzy knits, which I think they're sort of known for with their beanies and scarves being so popular. What I loved is their inclusion of cowgirl boots, because I have a pair of cowgirl boots and I wear them all the time. And with like knee-high boots coming back into trend, I think it's a way to just make it look a little bit more fun and whimsical and less like New York. I don't know, it just seems so like businessy knee-high boots sometimes. And so I like the cowboy boot style just because it adds just like a whimsy to it. And I also just love the juxtaposition of Scandinavian style with like such an American piece like cowgirl boots. They also featured like a lot of cutouts, which is like expected. I think just that's very trendy nowadays. They had some like metallic denim pieces that I thought were really interesting, and especially the shade of denim was like an acid wash, which we'll get back to later when we talk about the trends. They also featured powder blue and pinks a lot, which I appreciate, and a lot of these like just rosy tones in general, which pink is my favorite color, so I'm biased, but I do really like that. And they had a lot of like lace and bows, and I love bow detailing. Very coquette, which I know most of you guys that are watching this came from my coquette video, so I really like Gani's pieces. I think it fits like this pink coat particularly, like it can't get more coquette than that. The next collection we're gonna look at is by Molleberger, and this one is also one that I wasn't mega impressed by, except in one aspect, which was their usage of textures. You see a lot of texture mixing in this collection, which I appreciate. So like leather and cotton, different styles and thickness of knits, furs, like I don't know, I wanted to touch the collection. In terms of color, it was pretty neutral in like the cream brown side of things, with pops of powder blue, which is like clearly gonna be a trend. Yeah, like silks, leathers, fuzzy textures. It was really texturally pleasing, but other than that, in terms of silhouette and color, I feel like it fades into the background a little bit, personally. Okay, so the next collection we're gonna look at is my personal favorite of Copenhagen Fashion Week, and this is definitely a brand to watch for me, and a brand that like I immediately followed on social media, and this is Baum und Puffgarten. Baum und Puffgarten. I sound like inventing Anna trying to do a German accent. I'm so sorry. What did I say in my 2010 trends video? That citrus tones, particularly blood orange, is coming back, and the first like 4 pieces in this collection were in this. I just got chills. I just got emotional. Oh my god. When clothes make you emotional, this beautiful blood orange, almost tomato, but it has enough coral in it to not be like this beautiful blood orange color. They also incorporated a lot of pinks, and pink and orange are literally my favorite colors. So I was just blown away by this collection. They had this like deep, almost blue-green and emerald, like an emerald green houndstooth 2-piece suit that I found was beautiful. You saw some more quilted detailings again, like we have in other collections. Powder blue, we've seen a few times now. Heels and tights, which is a trend that I personally really, really love. And they had a lot of lace, which again, we've seen a little bit in a lot of the collections, but they had sparkles and sequins, and I'm like, I'm sorry, if you're gonna have orange, pink, and sparkle, you're the brand for me. So Baum und Puffgarten, if you want to invite me to your show in August for Copenhagen Fashion Week, I'm here. I will go. I will scream. No, I'll behave nicely, but I'll be like rave reviews, because this collection slapped my ass so hard. We love to see it. I've been informed that it's Baum und Puffgarten, not Puffgarten. You fucking idiot. So the last collection that Vogue Runway had on their Copenhagen Fashion page was Salon. I mean, compared to Baum und Puffgarten, we took a dip, but there were some things that I really liked. They had a lot of this electric orange, which again, we've been seeing citrus tones and everything. I'm not saying that I called it, but I am saying that I'm a fashion genius. We saw a lot of vertical stripes, including pinstripes, which was a pattern I didn't see in some other collections, which I did appreciate. I don't think we utilize vertical stripes enough. I did see some horizontal stripes in different collections, but I find that vertical stripes I think are more wearable. They also have this beautiful orange 70s style floral print that I really like. I think that Scandinavian fashion does take a lot from like the 70s peasant dress, like late 60s, early 70s era. And I really enjoyed seeing that here on the runway. They had this like Jurf Avenue style knit dress. It literally looks exactly like Matilda Jurf's collection, and I know she's had that dress for a few years. And they also had it in this like beautiful orange color. So Matilda, we've been known that you are a trendsetter, but like damn, you really predicted this. And they had these like beautiful, like what I would call like extreme suit sets. Like they weren't super tailored, they were baggy, they were in bold prints and colors, which I liked. However, what killed Salon's collection for me was the usage of what I call prison slides. I know Kanye West and American street style in general have been trying to bring these prison slides into fashion. I don't like slides in general. I don't like athleisure at all. Why? Like shoes can be so cool. Why just go with prison slides? I mean, flats on the runway is like sacrilegious enough, but then you just go with these, I don't know. It killed me, it killed it for me. I did like the baggy silhouettes, and they had this like tank top midi black dress in their collection, which was interesting because Baum und Puffgarden also had a 90s midi like spaghetti strap dress. So it's interesting that we saw two very similar dresses in the Copenhagen Fashion Week, and both remind me of an understated version of the Chanel dress from the 90s. And so this 90s black spaghetti strap slip dress is definitely going to be staying. I think it's a classic piece, but it was interesting to see that two collections had it in their runway show. All right, so now we are gonna go into the trends that I saw overall in Copenhagen Fashion Week, and I actually did cross-reference this with like what like Elle, Who Wear What, Harper's Bazaar, Teen Vogue said, and I'm not gonna toot my own horn, but I did basically pick out all the trends that they picked out, so just saying. The first thing, which I think is basically a staple in Scandinavian fashion, particularly Danish fashion in general, which is suits and blazers and tailored pieces. I think that's like a staple that we see a lot. Again, Matilda Jurf is kind of known for that, and she is the peak of Scandinavian style. And we saw a lot of really cool ways to wear blazers and tailored pieces, like Holtzweiler did, or just doing like really cool bold suits like Salon did. I do appreciate the blazer and tailored pieces. My favorite items in my closet are my button downs and my trousers, so I stand. Another thing that we saw quite a bit were moon boots, which we've seen come into trend this winter towards the tail end. I feel like the past maybe month or so, especially like we've been seeing it with this like snow bunny aesthetic coming to popularity. These giant fuzzy boots, these moon boots, leg warmers, that's definitely has become a trend in the past, I would say month or two. And I think next fall and winter, it's gonna be like, if you don't have moon boots or fuzzy boots, like what are you even doing? Another thing that I definitely do also associate with Scandinavian style in general, which is like a gingham or checked pattern. I actually have Scandinavian bedding that's in a gingham. I just associate those light gingham patterns with Danish and just Scandinavian style as a whole. Not that I'm trying to lump all the countries together. I know they're all individual. So yeah, we saw a lot of these checked patterns and like cool checked pants, which reminded me of like the Lisa Says Ga pants from last year. So I think those pattern pants are definitely here to stay. In terms of the colors that absolutely dominated the runway at Copenhagen Fashion Week, we're giving it up for electric blue, powder blue, blood orange, bright, I would call hunter's orange, and pinks, which those are literally my three favorite colors. And so I love the fact that orange, pink, and powder blue were like all over the runway. I think they're so chic, and I think it's so nice. And something I just love about Danish style as a whole is how colorful it is. They call it like dopamine dressing, just like dressing in really bright, fun colors. It's like so in style. Oh my God, these shadows on my face. I'm just gonna move up a little bit. Other things that we saw a lot, again, like I said, blazers. We saw a lot of baggy pants, which I do associate with Scandinavian style. I love baggy pants. I think it's like the best thing that's happened to mankind, to just wear baggy, trendy pants all the time. So I absolutely love that. We also saw a lot of statement sleeves, like balloon sleeves or bell sleeves, which I appreciate simply because when you have to wear long sleeves for like 8 months out of the year, shaking it up with some different like textures and different silhouettes, I think is just a nice way to like break the mundaneness of winter. We also saw a lot of like quilted jackets, and a lot of them were in that shiny puffer nylon material, which isn't my favorite. It just reminds me a little bit of athleisure, which again, I'm against. But I have seen this sort of quilted jacket style in like a cotton, and it sort of reminds me of IKEA blankets, but at the same time, I really like it. So I am pro the quilted jacket trend and the interesting quilted pieces. I think material wise, that's up in the air for me. Something that I was really shocked and pleasantly surprised to see on the runway was a lot of denim, and specifically acid wash denim, which means that grunge is coming back, because you can't have acid wash denim without grunge being an influence. And I love the way that Scandi paired it with like a metallic overlay. I thought that was really cool, but just the acid wash in general, I kind of forgot how lit acid wash jeans look. They can look a little bit tacky, I think, if it's gone too far. I don't know, like seeing it on the runway, I was like, oh, I forgot how lit acid wash denim is. I weirdly forgot to film my segment on oversized puffer jackets, but these were definitely a huge trend all over the runway. I feel like they started sort of last year, but clearly in Scandinavian fashion, oversized puffers are going to be the it accessory for fall and winter. And the last trend that we overwhelmingly saw is going to come to no surprise, because it's already sort of a trend now, which is balaclavas. In the past probably 6 weeks, we have seen balaclavas pop off, and it's basically been happening all fall winter season. People have been styling their scarves like balaclavas, and balaclavas are basically a ski mask but with your face hole out. And I like this trend a lot, because I like that it's a trend that is very inclusive, meaning that women who choose to cover their hair can participate in this like very cool fashion trend. However, hijabi women and Orthodox Jewish women face a lot of violence because of their hair covering being like an indicator that they're different. So like, I like that balaclavas are a trend because I think it looks cool, and I like that it can be an inclusive fashion statement. However, it does feel like headscarves were a negative thing, covering your hair was a negative thing until 6 weeks ago, and now it's trendy. So yeah, especially seeing it in the United States and in Scandinavia, which are two regions that are rampant with Islamophobia. But if you're a hijabi woman or a woman that chooses to cover their hair, let me know. How do you feel about the balaclava trend coming into style? I'm not trying to talk over you at all. Maybe I'm just talking out of my butt. I probably am. Used a lot of like black models on their runway, and the runways in general were relatively racially diverse. Size wise, I mean, runways are just like really bad at that. Salon did actually like a pretty decent job at including different sizes. All right, I believe this video is long enough, and I don't think the lighting's gonna get any better with the shadows on my face. So I do sincerely hope that you enjoyed it. What was your favorite trend that you saw? Do you enjoy me going through these like high fashion pieces? I know I tend to go with more like trends and like aesthetics rather than like high fashion runway styles. But if you like this video, definitely give it a thumbs up and leave a comment down below what else you'd like to see from me, because I always love making videos that you guys like to see. I'm typically just going to ask what you'd like to see over on my community tab. So if you subscribe to my channel, you'll be able to cast your vote into what you want to see from me. Also follow me on TikTok and Instagram, because I do post content there every single day. TikTok, I really just like let my personality run loose. I have like no filter on TikTok. And if you want to see my personal style, Instagram is definitely the way to go. And yeah, with that, have a happy day. Bye.